We are back up in here, man. Down to Spirit
Yes, sir.
convo with the one and only Sound Off the General, as you see there, orange shirt with the
Yes,
salute.
sir.
And then the one and only mental coach Kev is. We are here today, man. One of these interesting days, where we just kind of feeling, just kind of, how would I put it, chill or more in a relaxed state. From what I guess the energy that's been going on throughout the day. It is still, is it Mental Health Awareness Month?
Yep. Still mental health awareness month.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so in understanding of that, then we decided to do some more talking about mental health awareness. So we just kind of, hey, just winging it today, man, having a talk, hopping on here since we have decided to hop on Fridays, and hopefully
Yep.
it's something that somebody gets from this to help them out on their journey, their life journey, the mental health journey as well, or just an understanding of mental health in this particular month. With the people that you might be dealing with in life as you pass through, from work to pleasure, leisure, whatever that you're doing in life, family, friends, being able to understand people that might be battling or experiencing, some things in their mental health space. So, how's your how you doing today, Marcus? How your mental health doing today? Since we asked each other
It'd be better when we get done with this.
that.
You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like it
See
just
that?
it's just been a long day. It's been a long day. Man,
Yep.
feeling it.
I can feel you. I sure was over here like, man, okay, let me try to go on and muscle through doing what we do today, man. But hey, we still showed up, man. So sure we gonna have a good talk as we always do. Let's see, I'm gonna make sure I share things on the other places here, most definitely. But yeah, while I'm doing this, man, let's get into it. So
Yeah.
we gonna let Sound Off the General. He got his government up there showing on his
Oh
thing now.
man. I ain't even think about that.
we
See,
gonna
that's how y'all know I'm slipping today because I ain't even think about changing the
Bro
name
got
or
the
nothing.
bro got the
Man,
government up on there.
hey, I'm gonna change. Nah, I'm gonna let it ride. I'm
Oh,
gonna
you
let it
let it ride?
ride.
Okay. Well, that's what it
Yeah.
is then. Well, hey, we tuned in with the one and only Marcus today, and then the one and only Kev.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
So tell us about your mental journey, or yeah, your mental
My
journey. Let's get
diagnosis. So
yeah.
it was interesting. Growing up, I had an auntie that was bipolar.
Uh-huh.
Coming to find out she was type 2. It was 2011 when I got diagnosed with bipolar mental health. And I remember the first thing I thought about was like, man, I don't want nobody to think I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be crazy. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And little did I know years later through episode, people see me as crazy anyway.
Yeah.
So I mean, sometimes what you're afraid of is how I want to say this. It's not it's not as bad as you think it is,
Mhm.
or sometimes you could perpetuate that fear and manifest that very exact thing. So it just kind of depends on how you look at it. But I live with bipolar disorder, diagnosis one, and there are so many other people that live with schizophrenia,
Mhm.
paranoid schizophrenia, anxiety, and that's paranoia, schizophrenia is thinking people after you. Schizophrenia is hearing voices, seeing things that aren't there. And
Mhm.
in the line of work that I do, I hear some tripped out stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like all kind of things that voices may tell people to do certain things. Um, I also there are people with anxiety that struggle with worrying and panicking, and they can't live out their day on a regular day.
Mhm.
Some people that live with depression and is at the lows of lows and can't get out of bed and can't function on a day to day basis. You know what I mean? Some people are OCD that are so so obsessed with details, they got to have everything in a certain structure or
Yeah.
certain order. There are some people that have ADHD where they can't sit still and they can't focus and they just running from thing to thing.
Mhm.
But then there are some people that like me that live with bipolar. And so for me, bipolar, it's been a journey, it's been a battle. It's not something that I got mastered. It's not something I woke up and I chose, hey, I want to be bipolar today.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I do agree with Kanye. Bipolar is my superpower.
Mhm.
But in the same sense, you know what I mean? It's also can be a burden in the same sense because Um, you know, because of, my episodes, manic episodes, which are, I say it all the time, it's temporary insanity. It's a lot of symptoms involved. It could be hypersexuality that's trying to get it on with any and everybody. It could be delusions where you think them to be true, but they're not true. You can have, what I'm saying, hallucinations. You can have times or periods where you just can't sleep and you're always on the go.
Hmm.
Anger issues, blowing up on people. You know what I mean? Like, there are so many things I've done in manic episodes. I once thought I was Jesus. Bought a $60,000 car.
Hmm.
Blasted people on social media. You know what I mean? Got fired from 2 jobs in less than 60 days. You know what I'm saying? Just
Yeah.
because of my mental illness. You know what I mean? And it's something that, like I said, it's a burden, it's a challenge, it's a struggle. You know what I mean? It's something that I deal with. I take medication every day to ensure that I don't have an episode. And sometimes that's not, what I'm saying, foolproof. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
If there's other things that are playing in motion, it's like things that cause manic episodes are such as not sleeping, getting enough sleep,
Yeah.
being increased or excessively stressed out. You know what I'm saying? Some people can smoke weed and some people can't. You know what I'm saying? Smoking can cause,
From my research, I noticed that smoking was one of them triggers. Yeah.
yeah, it could be a trigger. You know what I mean? So it's like there are so many different variables factor. I had one episode where I was just off my meds and I was drinking and it caused the episode.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of like there's all these things that come into play. And it's like, when you're up and you're having those main experiences, it's like, you know, I've I've only tried marijuana. You know what I'm saying? That's the only thing I've ever, was crazy about. Some of these other stuff, I don't know nothing about that.
Hmm.
But I'm telling you, a manic episode better than marijuana. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just like you get up, you feel good, you feel inflated, you feel like higher self-esteem, you feel like can't nobody touch you, you feel invincible. And then, man, when I like, it's crazy, Kev. There was so many times I could speak things into existence, or I could say things, and things would happen and appear in a manic state. Now, when I'm not manic,
Hmm.
you know what I'm saying?
That's interesting. Okay.
Some things didn't materialize like that. You know what I mean? Like it's and one thing one of my old teachers, philosophers would say is like, well, it's possible because you are on a different vibration than what you normally are. You're on a higher vibration. That's why you was able to manifest things a lot simpler. But when
Can
you're
you
in
give me
that
an
mania,
example of, my bad for cutting you off. Can you give me an example of like one of those manic episodes you might have had and then
manifested
you
something.
manifested something? Yeah.
So one instance, I had told this when I was deep in religion. That's another thing about manic episodes. You hyper religious.
Okay. Hyper religious one.
So
Makes sense.
whatever
Okay.
religion you in, you kind of overly think. You know what I'm saying? That you are the chosen one, or you here to do something greater. But
Yeah.
anyways, I had told this woman expect a miracle in 3 days. I don't know what made me tell her that. I didn't know it was a lady I was working with, and she came back to me way down the line.
Hmm.
Was like, "It's crazy. You said there was a miracle that was going to happen, and 3 days later, a miracle happened." You know what I mean? And she was like, "I
Yeah.
can't explain it." You know what I mean? And it was just, she didn't really divulge exactly what it was. Maybe it was something personal to her,
Yeah.
but for her, it was months, months. Like it was almost maybe a calendar year later that she came back to me and told me that. So, um, I had the ability through episodes to talk to people and persuade them to do pretty much a lot of different things.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whether it's joining my,
Yeah.
hold
Yeah.
on, just a second, yeah,
Okay. Yeah. That's interesting there though, man. And you mentioned Kanye said that bipolar is a superpower.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So I was just saying, like, man, I had the ability to persuade people to join my organization. You know, I was at the time I was doing a music organization, and I was able to talk people into joining and being a part of it and stuff like that. And it was
Mhm.
just kind of like just have the ability to be charismatic. You know what I mean? And people say I am charismatic, but when I'm manic, I'm more charismatic. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like you would think I was Steve Harvey or something. You
Okay,
know,
that's
just
crazy
like
because I'll be done had some beating drunk, some liquor or something, and be a different version of myself, more open and more, prone to talk to people, more, relaxed and talking to people. That used to be, how I used to be for me, supposedly.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
yeah,
interesting. It was a number of different things that you mentioned that kind of I wanted to ask some questions about. So, you mentioned people that have battle with other mental health issues, such as like hallucinating and seeing different things and hearing voices.
yeah.
You get some experiences of that, or what maybe
Uh,
that you're able to share?
so when I was first diagnosed, they wanted to give me psychosis or schizophrenia diagnosis as well
Hmm.
because I was telling them I felt like God was telling me to do certain things.
Yeah.
And so they took that as, oh, he's hearing voices. Now,
Hmm.
me in particular, I can't just, 100% say I remember hearing a voice tell me to do something. You know what I mean? I can't say that that's been my experience, but
Yeah.
I do know people that, a voice might get them to tell up and run, tell them to run, get up and run away. You know what I mean?
Ah,
Or
okay. Yeah.
they might hear a voice, like I had a particular talking to a person one time and they were saying that they would hear people doing sexual acts all day long.
And
And that's
they,
what in their head.
yeah,
You know what I mean? One client, you know what I'm saying? One person was telling me that they get up and throw their clothes away. You know what I'm saying? Just or set a house on fire. You know
yeah.
what I mean? Like
Cause something told them to do it. Yeah.
something told them to do it.
I wonder what that something is. It's like people have these different, which I've been researching ego states lately, which they stated we have I don't know if it's 5 to 15 or so ego states that we can switch into. And a normal, supposedly healthy minded person still makes the switch throughout the day, but they don't notice the switch. It might be,
Mm,
I went into the kitchen to go get something, but then you in the kitchen, and you're like, what did I come up in here to get? And you might have switched
right.
ego states then. Or some people have, to where some ego states, which ego states are like, I guess, individual type of, how would I put it, versions or personalities of yourself that sits within yourself that each one can kind of take precedence at one any particular moment. And people who have had trauma sometimes they have, I guess, the wrong ego state might step up and try to take over in certain experiences in life because it feels like it's protecting the person. Like, okay, yeah, well, you had an issue with this particular cat this one time where the cat scratched you and did all this crazy stuff. So hey, now we gonna protect you from cats. So I'm gonna step up. Anytime a cat is around, I'm gonna cause you to go into hives and shakes and then get out of dodge, like what I'm saying, you on fire or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just something crazy that your I guess your unconscious mind or whatever that part of you feels like is actually solving things in a good way for you, but it might not be the most best desired way to do things, right?
Right.
And then they say that people who have, I guess, mental, let's just say dissociative identity disorder, I guess, which
Uh,
you kind of have, you switch into different ego states or personality states of yourself,
personalities.
but then
Yeah.
you might not recognize that switch. And that's when the person will switch into this other personality themselves and then come back and it's like, don't know what they done did
Yeah.
to somebody tell them, But it's interesting because people who do have multiple personalities, I've noticed with some books that I've read, that doctors talk about, okay, birthmark is in one personality and it's not in the other one when they switch. It's
Mm,
one personality they supposed to be a child or 7 or 8 year old, but then this other personality they this 78-year old, you know. And there was this one lady and she just switches between, I don't know if it's like 7, 8 of them, man, just anytime throughout the day. Some of them can paint, some of them are artists, some of them are not. Some of them, like I say, are adults, some of
mm,
them are kids. And it's interesting because medication even affects these people differently depending on what ego state they in. Some people might have diabetes in one ego state or, personality state and then not in the other. It's some interesting stuff. So what I've been researching is, man, how do we get into the particular most empowering state, at the times that we want to have it? you know.
Right.
And I kind of been playing around with it, so I ended up we went on a cabin cousin trip some weeks back it was. And me, I'm not the guy that's gonna really just jump up and be trying to dance or dance in front of people or whatever. Even though I was in my artist stage, that was just kind of like, hey, maybe an alter ego, so to speak. Kind of like Beyonce
Right.
has Sasha Fierce or whoever else has the other uh Tyrese has whatever, Black Ty, whatever. The people had their different ones. I would, once I'm in the artist state, then I would feel more comfortable with, being in front of people and doing things. But in normal Kev state, I'd be chilling, introvertish. But I end up playing with the ego state thing and was like, okay, as I'm having this trip or driving or whatever to these cabins, I want to be in a better space to where I can listen to music and then be more comfortable with kind of groove and dance and as I'm driving. And then I end up having that cool experience. But it's I guess it's unfortunate for I guess the people who just kind of switch into these different mental spaces, man, that don't realize what's going on, man, and they've been and acted out, and did some things that they, didn't desire to do, harm people or hurt people or you know
Man,
what I mean, and
man.
and switch back and then have to deal with the idea of somebody telling them what they did. And they
Right.
just
And
go ahead, I'm
I'm
listening.
sorry. So you hitting home, man. Like,
Yeah,
that was the thing for me. Like when I have episodes, it's like I am a different person.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? You know sound off is manic when he tougher than he normally is.
mm-hmm,
You know what I'm saying? Because for some reason, when I'm manic, that bravado of like I am just a tough guy comes out, and I'm just hard, and I'm just
yeah,
this, and I'm that. You know what I mean? But when I'm not, I'm a chill, kind of dude. I ain't looking for no trouble. I ain't trying to start no trouble. I ain't trying to get involved in nothing. I'm just, minding my business.
mm-hmm,
That's Marcus. And so when I'm manic, it's like it's one thing you're doing these things, but you're not realizing the impact that it is having on your people,
mm,
on your family, on your kid, on your wife, you know what I'm saying, on your brother, you know what I mean? Like my brother was telling me, man, one time, he was like, man, he was a truck driver at the time. He's still a truck driver, but he was like, man, I'm just expecting to get this phone call. You know what I'm saying? Somebody done did something to you. You know what I mean? Like
uh,
I'm just
man,
expecting that, they're gonna tell me you gone. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Just because you're out there. You know what I'm saying?
man.
And it's like I had one friend. Oh man, when you was manic, you did this and you did that and you did this and you
Do you
did
remember
that.
those things when you didn't did it? Or
Some of them I do, some of them I don't.
okay. So sometimes, so how does that feel? Can you explain that to us? How does that feel when you beat and did something and where, okay, you back in, let's just say your normal state of mind and you in front of somebody and they telling you all of this stuff that you supposedly did. How does that feel?
Now,
The part of you feel
the
like, man, I don't feel like I did that. Are you lying or?
no, 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 because it's like when they say it, a lot of times it'll jog my memory.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Because every manic episode is like a traumatic brain injury.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like having a blow to the head. It's
And
say,
start causing
my
scar
doctor
tissue and
told
stuff
me,
in
yeah, my doctor was telling me that it typically takes anywhere from 4 to 7 years for your brain to heal. I've had 6 episodes in the past 7 years.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So my mind really has never really healed from any of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but it's when you feel it, when people tell you that you feel, man, you feel low. You know what I mean? Like I got a song called Fool, and it's like, I've made a fool of myself. You know what I mean? Like I feel it like, when I'm telling you talk people into things, man, I had talked people out of money.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like talking to them, like, man, if anything I feel like has blessed you and you feel good, give me some money. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Tip me a donation or something. And
Yeah.
people did it.
Okay.
People did it.
That
And
show you
so
the
then, huh?
that show you the power he had in the moments. Go ahead. I don't want to cut you off though.
No, no, I was gonna say, and then people was close to me was looking at me like as a false prophet, a convict, a con man.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm out here conning people out of their money. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, I like I ain't explained the situation too well, but like I did a album one time called Contradiction, and it didn't ever get released.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so I ended up losing some of those songs. And when I lost those songs, I just decided, you know what, I'm gonna release a new project. I'm gonna use those songs that I have reserved
Hmm.
left with some of the other songs from that time period and release it. And so, the first 9 songs, I'm kind of first 8 songs are, I'm telling situations that I would come to in these episodes or in this episode. Man, so I talked people into giving me money. I went into a job and told them I've been smoking.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I've been getting high. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I'm talking about supervisors.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
My bad
So here's the
laughing, but
no, you good because it's funny to me now. You know what I'm saying?
uh,
At the time, it hurt. You know what I mean? Because it's like
yeah.
I worked through college all this time to get my degree, and so here it is. I'm at an internship. Then land the job. All I gotta do is pass the drug test. And
Uh,
so I go in and tell them, hey, I've been smoking. I don't feel like being a fake person no more. Hey, this is what
hmm.
I did, and then in a manic state tried to fake the test, and then it came back negative. You know what I mean? It came back, like it came back. I failed the test. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
I'm over
saying?
like, how did you try to, how did you try to pass, man? What you do? What you do? You came over there with somebody else,
Yeah,
urine or what?
yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I ain't gonna, yeah. But anyways, so ended up failing. Now everything I worked for was in vain.
Hmm.
Married with a stepdaughter. And at this time, like, you know what I mean? I put my family into a negative situation where we were counting on the money that I was gonna make from this job to help make things coast,
Yeah.
to get ahead, get in a better position. Here I am. I do this and have this episode. Now all that's out the window.
Yeah.
You
Man,
know what I'm saying?
that's a lot to deal with, man. And I mean on the person that's experiencing the mental illness as well as the people that's around, man, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And I hope people on here today that actually view this can kind of get a better perspective, man, an idea of point of view of, how this affects people, man, and kind of more idea of what to look for if some of these, things happen with, some of their loved ones that they know are battling with things or, might actually be able to push them to kind of go and, be seen to see if
And get some
something is
help.
there. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing that, in our community, Carol, like we've been taught over the years, we kind of throw it in a little bit. Generational trauma is like frown on mental health. You don't need to talk to no therapist. You don't
Hmm.
need no medicine.
I'm just man up.
Trust on Jesus. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, and at the end of the day, it's like, man, if you need the medication, you need the medication.
What you
Just
said.
like the chick that
Yeah.
put weave in and put makeup on. If you need it, you need it. You know what I'm
Uh,
saying? Go ahead and do it. If you need the meds, take the meds.
hmm.
If you need the talk therapist, get the talk therapist. If you need the hypnotherapist, get the hypnotherapist. You know what I mean? Like the mental health is real, and it's like people, because they don't understand it, it's foreign to them. They like less tolerable.
Hmm. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's unfortunate because I feel like, man, just education or understanding kind of helps in a lot of different relationships. I feel like in race relationships, like opposing races,
Yeah,
just them being able to get a good understanding of each other's cultures, what I'm saying, each other's lingo or what words mean or feelings mean to each other, and getting an understanding of that, each other's experiences, man, then it'll cause people to have more of, empathy or heart or understanding for someone. So, even in the mental health space, man, just any part of life, just having understanding for your spouse and communication. I feel like that's
facts.
optimal communication, being able to understand or try your best to understand what's going on with the other person, so that you can know that, okay, this word means this to them. Okay, this word means this to me, but it means that to them. So I know when they say it, to try not to allow it to trigger me too much because they have a whole different definition or meaning for it than what it is for me,
Yep,
you know.
yep.
just being able to understand that space, man. It's a lot of power and value in that if a person actually takes time to do that. So, my ask would be people that's on here, hey, just have a more understanding for people who's dealing with things or battling with things. Because if you see a person that
Yeah.
has some sort of handicap in a physical way, you will be able to look at them and be like, okay, well, I can't expect this person to run over to me because they, don't have all of their limbs or they, bedridden or whatever the case may be. You ain't gonna expect them to be able to do things that a normal person, and I'm saying normal, but a person who might have all of their limbs to be able to do. So think about a person in the mental space, just dealing with a mental illness. You expecting them to do certain things or different feats that they might not be capable of doing in any particular moment because of the diagnosis and what they're battling with. So I would pray
And,
that we have more empathy for each other. Go ahead.
and then the thing that, people struggle with is the fact that mental health is, you can't see it.
Yeah.
You don't like, you see symptoms, but you can't see the disease. And bipolar is a chemical imbalance. You know what I'm saying? So somewhere in my mind the chemicals are off. You know what I'm saying? They need to be balanced. That's what bipolar is. You know what I mean? And people think, a lot of time bipolar just mood swings. Nah, bipolar more than mood swings. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that quick to cuss you out just might have some anger issues. They don't necessarily mean they bipolar. There's
Hmm.
other things that come with it.
Yeah.
But one thing I would say is like, man, I'm fortunate. I'm blessed. You know what I mean? I am somebody that actually works. My mental health does not impact me being able to work or have gainful employment. There
Yeah.
are so many people that their mental illness is so bad they can't work. They got to go to a program in the daytime just so they can get their meds and make sure, you know what I mean? And they got somebody over their money and making sure,
Yeah.
giving them allowance. And you know what I'm saying? It's unfortunate,
Yeah.
but it happens.
I was thinking about that made me think about Wendy Williams. I think she started having some sort of, something going on in the mental space, and then they kind of took a lot of things away from her and doing a lot of things for her that she feel like she's capable of doing herself. But, I guess maybe she had some sort of diagnosis or something. It was something else I wanted to mention too, man. So you mentioned hypersexuality. That could be a thing that might happen when a person is dealing with
Yep.
bipolar. Yeah, so
Yep.
I
Dealing
mean,
with the episode.
so that means people that are in marriages sometimes, they can have a spouse that actually, goes into a manic episode or whatever the case may be, and then actually does something like this to compromise, the marriage, so to speak. Man, that's it takes, having some great understanding, and actually being there for your spouse if they're battling, with bipolar, which I know some people who have some spouses that, have, and they've been battling for years, man, in a lot of different situations, man, and it's been heavy on both of them,
Yeah.
in the midst of this. So, man, my heart definitely goes out. What else was I gonna mention? Oh yeah, you mentioned bipolar being like a superpower. We talked about that. Feeling invincible and all that. I want to talk more about how you feel in the space when you kind of get into a manic episode because I know you
Man.
mentioned that in when you manic sometimes and it causes things to manifest more. I want to hear some more of those things. I know you mentioned the lady that's you said a miracle was gonna happen for her
Yeah.
and and that did, but I want to hear some more things about first off, that invincible feeling, that that more powered feeling that you have. Can you
Man.
explain that
So
to me?
yeah. Yeah, so you just, when you feel like you can do anything, you know what I mean? Like as an artist, you're an entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying? And you want to so I'll just say it this way. Something can inspire you, you like, I can go do that.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, man, 2018 is my first episode in 7 years, right? And
Hmm.
so I felt like, man, I had just watched a Nipsey Hussle documentary. And I'm like, man, he making a change and impact in LA. Man, I'm gonna do the same thing in Arkansas. You know what I
Uh-huh.
mean? And now, man, I'm on the go in my charger all the time, man. And ain't doing nothing productive.
Hmm.
I'm just out. You know what I mean? But you just think, you know what I mean? Like I'm finna come up on these millions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna build an empire, you know what I'm saying? Brick by brick, you know what I mean? Like it's you have
Brick by
all
brick.
these, yeah. So you have all these feelings, and it's kind of you just feel you feel bulletproof. You know what I mean? Like you don't feel like anybody can take you down. You feel like you're the most handsomest, or for a woman, might be the most beautiful person in the world. Feel like you're the smartest in the world. Feel like, like for me as an artist, I feel like, oh, I'm the greatest rapper of all time. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
I'm the best artist. You know what I'm saying? Like, and not that you shouldn't feel that way, but when you're manic, you're not sharp. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not witty. You're not witty. You know what I mean? Like you're sloppy. And just the way that you present, not how you present yourself, but like somewhat of how you present yourself, but like how you handle things, where you might be attention to detail,
Hmm.
you kind of letting things brush over. You know what I mean? You're not
Okay.
you're not you're not giving your best effort because you're not there mentally.
Yeah.
So it's like with all the confidence in the world that I have during those times, it's like you can't execute on them.
Mm. So how's your belief in those times? Like, do you have a heightened level of belief, would you say?
Yeah. Oh
Okay.
man. So believing I can do anything, believing that anything is possible, anything's gonna happen, anything could happen, it should happen, it will happen. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
um, and I'm a pretty spiritual and have belief, but it's even it's really out the box. Like, all right, so if my belief was in the box, you sit my belief in I'm manic outside the box, like 30 meters away. You know
Oh,
what I'm
okay.
saying? Like that's how
It's a big
far.
difference.
There's a big difference. That's how far I'm like, yeah, man, I could do anything. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, yeah.
Man. So speaking of mental health and the things that you've been through, you said you did some songs about some of those things,
Right.
some of those experiences, right?
Yep.
And that's what you will be releasing sometime soon.
I just released it yesterday. Lost
Okay.
songs from Sunset Lane.
Okay, get that to me again.
Lost songs from Sunset Lane.
Lost songs from Sunset Lane.
Yep.
Okay, is it
And
out on
so, yeah,
all
it's on
three
all
platforms?
streaming platforms. Nine, like the first nine songs out of the 13 are kind of like telling the story, and then the last four are from songs during that time period.
Okay,
So
okay. Well, that sounds like where can people find it? You said on all platforms.
all streaming
Okay,
platforms: YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music,
and they just type in sound off the
the
general.
general.
Okay.
Yep. Not Marcus Alexander, but
Yeah,
sound
I was
off the
gonna message
general.
you about that. Yeah, I'll type in sound off the general, and go check them out, listen to them, check them out on the places where you listen to and stream music at, which I'm sure could be Apple Music, Spotify, and all them other different YouTube, all them other places like that. Man, well, sounds good, man.
Title,
We appreciate
Amazon.
you being open and sharing your experience with us, going more deeper with it. I know we talk about it from time to time, bits and pieces of it, but I appreciate you kind of laying it out in a more detailed way, this time, and then diving more into how the manic episodes feel and how you feel, and being manic, some of the things that you actually might do that's unideal, and then have to deal with the consequences of that. You and your
Yeah.
the people that surround you, after you might, get out of the episode. So I appreciate you sharing that with us, man, especially here in Mental Health Awareness Month. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of people
Yes,
that's dealing
sir.
with that, so this gives y'all some information on what a person might experience in dealing with it. I know everything is kind of, unique to the individual. There's some little gnat or something in here. Maybe it's telling me, hey, it's time to go on and get up off of here. Man, well, most definitely, man. We had another good talk, man. Appreciate everybody to get a chance to actually ever tune in to this. If you want to find out more about what I got going on, then feel free to go to mentalcoachkev.com or search Mental Coach Kev on places like Instagram or et cetera on social media, TikTok, all that stuff. But yeah, my website is mentalcoachkev.com, and I do have some free mental mental how would I put it, mental techniques and processes that's on there. So feel free to go check out some things on there. And then I do have a community that we started, a mental health technique community, that we have a lot of great techniques in there that's been helping people in a great way. So if you feel like something that'll help you out, feel free to log on to mentalcoachkev.com. And if you need some of that, not if you need, go ahead and check out Sound Off the General. Go on and type that in your Spotify or your iTunes or your YouTube or whatever. And check out the new project. What's the name of that project again, brother?
Lost Oh, sorry, Lost Songs from Sunset Lane.
Okay, y'all heard it from the man himself. Anything else you got before we log off, bro?
Yeah. Yeah, check out his community. I say that because especially if you're dealing with mental health. And the truth of the matter is, we all deal with mental health. You know what I mean? Whether we like to acknowledge it or not, there are some definitely times that life will put you in a place where you're not okay. And
Exactly.
so, part of my self care, besides being an artist and writing and being creative and stuff like that, is taking my meds and using some of his techniques. You know what I mean? That helps me with my battle daily. So
Man, thank you for sharing that, brother. Anything else that you need to?
that's it.
Man, well, thank you, bro. Hey, well, we gonna sign out then. Y'all be blessed as we say, man. Do something loving for yourself first off, man. Some self-care. Whether it's something for your mental health, this is Mental Health Awareness Month. So, do some meditation or something. I know our last episode we kind of went through how to meditate, which we can say easily on here. The ref system I created, which is the R is for relaxed place and position. E is for eyes closed. And then F is for focus. Find something to focus on, which could be the AC. The AC is blowing over here in a wonderful way. Thank God. You can focus on that, or your breath's going in and out, or some sort of meditation music or something that you might find online or somewhere, or through somebody like me. But
Hey,
yeah, do something up for yourself, man. Then do something for somebody else. First find out what the idea, the true essence of the idea of love is from the most highest, special, wonderful, beautiful place that you can imagine, and then start incorporating some of those characteristics that you find with yourself, and then start displaying that to others. Because they say that once we change ourselves, then we change the world from that perspective, right? So most definitely, y'all be blessed, man. Y'all hold it down. Enjoy yourself.
peace.
Peace.